They had a bullseye on it. It had one outer ring and one inner ring on it. It was red. The bullseye was red.
The capital punishment sentence of Brad Keith Sigmon was carried out tonight pursuant to the order of the South Carolina Supreme Court and in accordance with state law. The execution was performed at 6:05:50 by a 3-person firing squad. He was pronounced dead by a physician at 6:08 p.m. Sigmund's last statement was read to witnesses by his attorney and is as follows. I want my closing statement to be one of love and a calling to my fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty. An eye for an eye was used as justification to the jury for seeking the death penalty. At that time, I was too ignorant to know how wrong that was. Why? Because we no longer live under the Old Testament law, but now live under the New Testament. Matthew 5:38-39 says, quote, "You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that you do not resist an evil person. Whosoever shall smite me on the right cheek, turn to him as well." End quote. Nowhere does God in the New Testament give man the authority to kill another man. That is why the Bible is divided into the Old Testament and the New Testament. Remember the words of Jesus, John 7:19. Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keep the law. We are now under God's grace and mercy.
The curtain opened. Brad Sigmon was strapped into the chair. Unlike other death executions I've seen, he was in a black jumpsuit, had black Crocs-like shoes on. He was completely strapped in. It looked like there was a harness over him. There was a strap over his head. His ankles were shackled. He had a covering over his mouth. He had a target over his heart when the curtain opened. It was already there. It was a little rectangle white paper, or I'm assuming it was paper, could have been cloth. They had a bullseye on it. It had one outer ring and one inner ring on it. It was red. The bullseye was red. When the shots were fired, it was very loud. It was very jarring and very, as you can imagine, shots would be. At that point, I think pretty much everybody in the room flinched. I did hear I think I heard what sounded like a gasp or something along those lines, but mostly I just noticed everybody just kind of involuntarily flinched a little bit. But as far as reaction from the witnesses, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary from my vantage point.